I learned this at a program called RDNA, Regenerative Design Nature Awareness. And what I loved was it was a way to get the group doing something together while they were waiting for everyone to come back. And it was amazing how it made us magnetize to group focus in a way that wasn't, I'm doing something and you get to receive it. It's like, I'm doing something and you get to concentrate. And I'm like, whoa, that's something different. So I'm just going to experiment. It's been a while since I did it. Even just now, I was like, did I have it right? So I'm going to start doing a pattern of percussion on my body, and I want you to join me. Okay. All right? No. So a suggestion, you might try to do it by doing everything I'm doing, or find one thing and add them one at a time in their right place. So if all you do is the snap, I know, right? It's not rhythmic yet while you're learning it. It's like what happens if you try to get it rhythmic first and you're only adding the elements you can? What about just the snap? You might notice you're watching me, but over time you're also listening to this kind of carpet of sound. That's all of us doing it. You might notice too that my right foot is tapping, so that just in case I get out of sync, there's something that's telling you how fast to do it. Can you do it? Make the noise. Boom, cha, boom, shibby, chee, boom, 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 cha, shimmy. Oh. My goal as a leader is to embody the thing that ideally I'd be able to stop and you do it on your own. Yeah, right? And once you get it, you're like, yeah! I loved this the first time so much when I saw it. Because it wasn't, all right, everyone, settle down. It was everyone like, everyone was settled down. Everyone was focused. Because it's like, what's that thing they're doing? There's a magnetism in it. And there's a way where if you were just watching me alone in your house on a Zoom video and it was just you and me, you wouldn't learn it as fast as you're learning it now with 25 people learning it. We learn faster together, actually. You might notice that if you're one of those people who's got it a little easier, you're kind of helping carry the weight now. Other people's brains are orienting to your confidence. Notice that? If you've already got it or you're starting to get it, let yourself groove with it a little more. It's not about the moves, is it? It's actually about this other thing that's happening. I'm going to stop again and see how you do without me. There's this other thing that happens where our enthusiasm makes us speed up. We're like, all right, let's take this on the road. Let's make money off of it. Let's make a website. Immediately, let's take the thing we're good at and sell it. Just kidding.
What? You were
Whatever sound Sean is getting right now is probably like, I'm trying to get her talking, but all I'm hearing is her thumping her chest.
Sounds great. Whoa.
What's your favorite part? I like the wipe across the chest.
Yeah.
Couple more. Make a cuckoo noise if you've got it, mostly. All right, dang, okay. We gotta do it a little longer. I don't wanna get you like partway in and then you just don't get to finish. But honestly, we could stay here for a long time, and there's a lot in this about leadership, right? Because if I stop, who are you orienting to? Hopefully it's a little more the vibe, the group. But you might already be looking around to see who else has that one piece you're missing. And I'll keep doing this.
I can hear it.
I'm glad I didn't wear my dangly necklace today.
I think I did one.
There's a trick about amplification, because as soon as something's loud and it's just doing all the work of being loud, we don't really have to sync up anymore because we're just receiving the volume. But right now, there's something pretty compelling that's happening and it's not loud, huh? I might just be talking, you're like, I'm not really listening to you, I'm trying to do this chest thumpy snap thing. So I have to be aware of that. I'm like, I could be leading and it's not even about my talking anymore. It's about the vibe I got started. Right? Well, there's a song we started putting to it that we've actually been told not to sing anymore. Remember? Yep. Yep. Mm-hmm. And it's because we never got permission from the author of the words, and they're a queer person of color, and there's enough co-opting without permission that happens. So the person who put a melody to it's like, no, stop singing that song. And it still happens without them, but the person who let the song part come through is like, I'm making the choice to be one person who's not taken without permission. And she reached out, they reached out, and never got a response, so we don't sing that song anymore. And that's okay.
Great song, though.
I know I'm singing it in my head, and I can't share it with you. But so many songs would go with this.
Sing it without the words.
I'll say, okay, we can sing it. We can totally. Here we go. Taking the melody. No, 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 da 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 da. Oh my God. Da 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 la da 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 da. Dare we try that too? Try it. Da 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 la ba da ba da 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 ba da 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 da. Don't you dare sing the words. La ba da ba da 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 ba da 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 da. Da 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 da. Three more. Da 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 da. Just the clapping now. Two more. Bring it home. Do your best, and these are the last two. Last one. Just stay in this for a sec. It's kind of like caffeine, isn't it? Collective learning.
It's so funny. That's what I was thinking about when you said that. I was like, I can't wait to drink my chai.
Need some brain food after that. So hi, y'all. My name's Aimee Ringle. I feel honored to be here. I was so excited seeing what this convergence is, the number of people on the list, and then I got asked by the organizer here when she saw me song leading at Cascadia Songrise, another gathering that happens earlier this year, and its second year close by, she's like, can you come do that thing you do here? And I was like, okay, what should we call it? And what is it that I do? Because I wanted a title for what I do. And so for this weekend, I'm on the thing as musician at large, because I'm helping with this workshop, but then I'm doing that thing that I've been known to do, which is play cajon with that person, and drum with that person, and hold space with this person. And I love getting to be that, because there's something about the togetherness of this that I want to be as in service to as possible. And the thing that I tell everyone and that I want for everyone is for what we each truly are to be in service to what we value. I want who I truly am to be in service to what I care about, to what's important to me. So that's a start. I could talk all day, but this is song leading and space holding 101, so I want to make sure to sing. But just to say that a lot of what I've learned about space holding is inextricable from sharing singing spaces. And that's not just spaces with people who are like totally seasoned singers. So often it's a smattering of people who are familiar with singing in groups of people, but haven't done it since 3rd grade, or somebody who's always wanted to, but never felt held in that. And because this thing right here is directly in between these two important things, and there are ways that our culture doesn't know how to let this come through, doesn't know how to empower it. There's a lot of this that gets shut down. It's a very tender thing to hold collective space for that. And oftentimes a song, I can't remember a circle where somebody wasn't moved or inspired by something we said or a song we sang, but also from getting to do the thing that there's not a whole ton of collective spaces letting us practice. So I guess there's leadership in that. I know there is, but it's about drawing out. It's what I love best about this is that in the end, if I'm like working really hard, people sit back and they start to watch me like a television. So I have to let go of the illusion that it's all about me, because actually what I'm looking for is everyone doing what we just did, where it's like we're alive, we're looking around, we're sitting up straight, we're listening, our senses are sharpened, and we're all empowered. And that's why I like it honestly without mics. I'm wearing this so that Sean can catch me for the video. And I'll stand on a stage occasionally, but there's something about this space that's not mic'd where I have to do a different kind of work to get and keep your attention. And I'm going for a different thing than just y'all listening to me. What I'm wanting is all of us showing up fully. And the questions are, what does it take to do that? I like to lead a song to start. The song is by my friend Samara Jade. Say that name.
Samara Jade.
She and I are in a band together with Michaela Kingslight, who will be here any second. Yeah, sure. Dharmika, yes, love you, yes. She wrote this song in the midst of an experience where she had to go through vocal cord surgery. And it was a harrowing bunch of months, years, of being one of the most amazing musicians I know and having her primary instrument be out of commission. And it takes rest, but then it took more rest than she thought. That's hard. It is hard to identify with this and lose it. And in the midst of that, she was writing songs praying for its return, praying for its empowerment. So if this resonates with you, this song is for you. I'm going to teach it, and then it works together as a round, and we'll see how that goes in the group too. And I like to stand to sing this, but you can do as you care to. If you can sit in a way that makes you feel empowered, that's what I want for you. It goes like this. May my voice be a strong and resonant vessel for love, for truth, for healing in this world. Try that. May my voice be a strong and resonant vessel for love, for truth, for healing in this world. Yeah. May my voice strong and resonant. Be a strong and resonant vessel. Love and truth. For love, for truth. Healing in this world. For healing in this world. May my voice be a strong and resonant vessel for love, for truth, for healing. As you get it, embody it. May my voice be a strong and resonant vessel for love, for truth, for healing in this world. Just you. May my voice be a strong and resonant vessel for love, for truth, for healing in this world. Keep going. May my voice be a strong and resonant vessel for love, for truth, for healing in this world. Yeah, one more. May my voice be a strong and resonant vessel for love, for truth, for healing in this world. Okay, so I love doing song circles and sky lodges because when you have 4-part rounds, you can just literally use the posts to bisect the group. So I'm going to stay here because there's fewer of us. By the way, our fire keeper, whose name you told me.
It's okay, Annalie.
Annalie, everybody. Yeah, trust me, you want this amazing woman of power caring for your fire. Yeah. All right, so what I'm going to say is, may my voice be a may, my voice, etc. to may, my voice. Okay, yes? Okay, 1, 2, you guys first. May my voice be a may, my voice be a may, my voice be a may, my voice be a strong and resonant vessel for love, my voice be a strong and resonant vessel. All together, one more. Sing it, mean it. May my voice be a strong and resonant vessel for love, for truth, for healing in this world. Stay here. Something I learned about from my friend Alina Aever about the wordless sacred nigun singing practice in the Jewish tradition. The song is us building the temple. The silence after is us entering the temple. And every silence is different. What's this one like? I mean, I just talked all over it, but.
Empowering.
What else?
Warm.
Emergent.
Sexy. Hopeful.
Prayerful.
Prayerful.
Uplifting.
Soft. Unified. United.
Yeah, bonding.
Espresso shot.
What we're left with after a song, after a gathering, is dependent on the song and also what is meeting the song, us coming here, what your day was like getting here, what you put into the song that was alive. And part of what we're doing as leaders is reading the room and saying, what's the next thing? While also utterly surrendering to what that thing's supposed to be for people, including them not resonating with it at all, because that's actually not our job or responsibility. Have a seat. So just the, yeah, oh my God, thank you. So briefly a little bit about me. So, my name's Aimee Ringle. I moved to the West Coast in 2009, and I came out here with a big prayer to be in service as a musician and as a storyteller. And I had just before moving here been woken up by a couple really amazing examples of that. Porangi was one. You guys know him? When I've re-seen him, and now I greet him as a colleague, and it blows my mind. But when I first saw him, I was like, it wasn't on big stages, actually. It was at a gathering called Winter Count, and he brought his minivan full of Brazilian carnival drums out into the desert. And for a weekend, he made his incredible skill of service to a group of novices. And he was leading singing workshops, and he was leading percussion workshops, and he was like taking his slide tunable didgeridoo and like playing it into the circle while we were singing. And I was like, you are making this whole space better, and it's not about you at all. And I want to do that. So just hail him and other examples like that. But I came to the West Coast fresh with that prayer. And almost immediately I met people like Lawrence Cole, say that name.
Lawrence Cole.
80 years old, grief tender, songwriter, badass, look him up. Spend time with him while you can, he's a gift. And I've been lucky enough to call him a friend and a colleague all this time. And he got me to Fairy and Human Relations Congress and Singing Alive, both of which are weekends worth of this. And I was a musician, I played guitar, I played percussion, and I sang, and I talked well. But the alchemy of all those in service to what I believed in really started at Singing Alive. And I hail Carly Loveling, who's been there since the beginning of that journey for me. And I've learned so much from you, and I've been honored to grow alongside you and have your witness and colleagueship in this, so thank you. Yeah, no, it's a thing, it's real, like watch her lead. And I now love how many of this crew of musicians and space holders I know, because we all feel like we're playing for the same team, you know? I love that so much. But at one of the early Singing Alives, I got to meet and hang out with, no, it wasn't, I met her. Lawrence Cole has given me so many great people in my life, and the way he says it is like, oh my gosh, you gotta sit with this person. Her songs are just killer. So that was how he described Serotonin. I went to a house concert she did in Port Townsend. I was like, oh my God. So she's here this weekend. Catch whatever she's doing, ever. She's another person for me that feels like she's ahead of me on the road I'm on. And she was one of the first examples I saw. And at one of the first song leader forums we had at Singing Alive, because I was like, there's so many leaders here. Can we get us all like together at a lunch and we talk to each other about what this is like? And Sarah said something there that I love and will keep repeating. She's like, our job as leaders, and this applies to song, but whatever kind of leader you are, our job is not to be perfect. Say that out loud.
Our job is not to be perfect.
Our job is to take risks in front of people.
Our job is to take risks in front of people.
So that we can be seen being human.
So that we can be seen being human.
Adaptable. Receptive. Vulnerable. And brave. And so at its best, that's what I'm doing up here. And if I'm perfect, you won't relate. And I hope I never have been, so that's yay. And I never will be. Well, that's the thing. That's the thing. Keep saying that. But it's like, I just last night, the reason I didn't get here earlier and like soak in this vibe even longer, and I'm a storyteller, so you're just gonna get stories from me too. Last night, me and a bunch of people were at the Abbey for the Arts in Seattle and in Fremont, and we were seeing a really amazing Indian performer called Ganavia. Say that name. Ganavia. Anyone know who I'm talking about? Okay, so her performances are wonderful, but the thing that struck me was her Instagram posts. You might not be on Instagram, but if you do, she's sitting in practice rooms alone. And I'm a musician, but practice rooms are scary because I'm ADHD and I'm like, I don't know how to focus. I don't know how to sit down and deeply revel in this thing. It makes more sense to me out here. So practice rooms always made me feel like guilty and like I was inattentive. When she's there, she makes it into this holy place because she's just singing with the divine and in total presence. And she was sharing last night and she was vulnerable. There was moments where she was having deep moments of feeling. And while she's singing in like blissful Carnatic scale, syllables going all over the place, she started to cry. And she was just gently tapping on her finger. And it was just a little EFT, a little emotional freedom technique, because it's actually really hard to sing and cry at the same time. Like, our voices go here, like immediately. And she was just giving herself a little bit of this in front of us. And so she was the most human. And it wasn't about perfection. It was about her being available to the moment, to the music, and to us. And I was like, everything you're singing to, everything you stand for, everything you're feeling, I want it protected. I want it nourished. I want it available to the people who need it. So it's actually about us being human. Yeah? Yeah. Another song by Carly Loveling. I'm going to lead it in front of her, and I'm a little nervous.
Good for you.
And I've taught Songleading 101 before, and it's partly because when I come to these things, I don't have a workshop worth of my own songs to sing, and I used to get down on myself about that. I'm like, I'm not as cool as Shireen. I'm not as cool as Carly. And like that stuff is still running in my head, and we all have it. You know, those little comparison voices. How many of you have a comparison voice? Is it sincere? Isn't it the most sincere, sweet thing? Like it thinks it'll help us? But I very quickly realized that there was this other thing I did. Hi, I love you. Oh, yes. Good luck. Michaela Kingslight, everybody. She and Samara and I are in a band together. So, what was I talking about?
Three wheels turning.
You're about to play a song.
Oh, right. Songleading 101, I started doing it because I was much better at carrying other people's songs than I was at letting my own songs through. And even that phrase, I was much better at, is still a judgment. I'm proud of the songs that have come through, but they don't come through as quickly as learning other people's songs and wanting to spread the good news immediately. And I've learned that that's part of the song leader I am. So when you see me lead, more often than not, I'm going to give you like a bouquet of wisdom and beauty from all of my friends. And I actually prefer that. But that's me. So Carly Loveling wrote this awesome song, and since I started doing Songleading 101, I can't think of a better one to put near the beginning, because this song literally embodies what we do as leaders. And it goes like this. Doing my best to be the love my deepest heart is dreaming of. I'm doing my best to be the love my deepest heart is dreaming of. I'm doing my best to be the love my deepest heart is dreaming of. Doing my best to be the love my deepest heart is dreaming of. I'm doing my best to be the love my deepest heart is dreaming of. I'm doing my best to be the love my deepest heart is dreaming of. Keep going. Doing my best to be the love my deepest heart is dreaming of. Doing my best to be the love my deepest heart is dreaming of. Okay, I'll show you a trick. Did you hear in that last one how somebody was harmonizing? I don't even care who it was, but did you hear how somebody was going, doing my best? When somebody starts harmonizing, that lets me know that the group is ready for the next part. There's like these little emergent cues where you're like, what should I do next and how will I know? Kids let you know, adults let you know what they're available for. And if you take a lead and somebody's like, hey, can you please repeat that part? I say, yes, I can, thank you. And I want you to know this as part of a group, your needs in the group for clarification, for more inclusion, for a slower pace, for more quiet. If you ask for those, you are doing a favor to the group because you are helping the group know better about its collective needs, and you might be voicing something that 5 other people are feeling, yeah? So your needs and voicing them and being aware of them are actually a service to the whole. Am I saying anything? Right, so second part goes like this. And it's a high harmony, so. Oh my God, Ian Love Covington, I know you've got the high harmony. Please give us your Freddie Mercury on this one. With every breath I take, let me be the love. With every breath I take, let me be the love. With every breath I take, let me be the love. With every breath I take, let me be the Stay there! Love. Doing my best to be the love. My deepest heart is dreaming. Join me if you want. Doing my best to be the love. My deepest heart is dreaming of love. Doing my best to be the love. My deepest heart is dreaming of love. Doing my best to be the love. My deepest heart is dreaming of love. Yes. Right? Carly Loveling, everybody. Third part, and this is interesting. So in song leading, there are these great opportunities because that high part, you're going to want to Whitney Houston it, right? And now there's bass over there, but there won't be sound checking long. So oftentimes there's parts that let us embody a different part of things. So like, with every breath, I'm like wanting to Whitney Houston that and make it loud. And in the collective whole, if everyone is doing that, you might miss the more subtle part, which might be your vibe today, which is letting my cup overflow. Grounded and simple. Letting my cup over. Don't you want room for that? Don't you want that to be heard? Letting my cup over. Is it frantic? No, it's kind of gentle. Letting my cup over. Are you forcing it? Are you making it? No, you're letting my cup overflow. Letting my cup overflow. Add the other parts and make them match. Doing my best to be the love my deepest heart is dreaming of. Doing my best to be the love my deepest heart is dreaming of. Keep going. With every breath I take, let me be the love. With every breath I take, let me be the love. With every breath I take, let me be the love. With every breath I take, let me be the love. With every breath I take, let me be the love. With every breath I take, let me be the love. With every breath I take, let me be the love. With every breath I take. Switch parts, embody something else. My best to be the love my deepest heart is dreaming of. I'm doing my best to be the love. Listen around. My deepest heart is dreaming of. I'm doing my best to be the love. My deepest heart is dreaming of. I'm doing my best to be the love. My deepest heart is dreaming of letting my cup over. Switch again, try something else. Moving my cup overflow. Letting my cup overflow. Letting my cup over. So now there's magic happening. Think about your life. Where does this apply? Doing my best to be the love. My deepest heart is. Picture your people who need this from you. Doing my best to be the love. Where are the places that no one else will if you don't? Doing my best to be the love. My deepest heart is dreaming of. Doing my best to be the love. My deepest heart. 3 more. Doing my best to be the love. My deepest heart is dreaming of. 2 more. Doing my best to be the love. My deepest heart. Last one. Letting my cup overflow. What do you notice?
Inspiration. Wellness.
Trust. Connection.
My breath.
Surrender.
Existential bliss. Courage.
Putting down my walls.
My heart's cracking open.
Where did your imagination go? If you treated this like a prayer, I try to, because collective singing is a very particular magic, and I get to point at places. And I get to receive the feedback I'm getting about where I need to point it. So where were some of the places you pointed at? I was thinking of my 4-year-old nephew, who I get to see for Thanksgiving.
About my kiddo.
Yeah.
Parenting.
Sharina Meany, sing it. Where else? Where did you point it? Your parents.
Pointed it right
partner.
here.
Yeah. Right here. To be the love. Yeah.
Inward.
Outward.
Above.
The directions of the circle.
Right.
When we were singing, all of a sudden, I felt like we were like in the galaxy, like in the sky, just lifted out, and we were like blasting this healing through the whole world.
Totally. Oftentimes when I'm here, I find myself singing to me when I was 9, because I had the longing for this and to be this, and I'm 42 now, and I can send it back. I can send this competence, this confidence. I can send this engagement, this web of belonging back to younger versions of myself who were longing for this, and let them know that it's coming.
And forward to the future ones.
Yeah, and forward, because if you'll notice, music is magic and it's not contained in time, right? Okay, so, yes.
Can you just repeat her name again?
Right, this person, say it, yeah, say that. I'm sorry, what was that?
Carly Lovely.
Say that name. Carly Lovely.
She's got a choir in Eugene.
It's amazing. She's an embodied, brilliant singer who lets wonderful songs of truth and belonging come through. Go listen.
Song Circle Sunday.
Really? Where?
So while that was fresh, in Song Leading 101, I try to do as many different song leading tools as possible to help the thing happen. And I'm curious what you noticed. What was I doing that worked? Let's start there, and if there's shit that didn't work, let's do that afterwards. I have great posture. I've not been told that. Thank you. Okay. Dharmika.
I really liked how you pointed out how that second part was like, let it all go, but hold it back, because here's this other part. And you helped us to recognize how to handle that,
Yeah.
make it work. In the
Cool.
You really gave us time with each part, and not just time with each part, but time with each part energetically.
Nice. So not just to teach it, but to like let the meaning of what that is settle for a minute. Yeah? Cool.
I liked how you moved your hands up with the notes. That was
It's a
really
thing. It helps to learn how to do that. We'll talk about that in a second. I want to come back to that, okay? Yeah.
There was this moment that I think because of what you mentioned, Carly, staying with each part and giving us time to be with it. There was a moment where we were all doing all the parts all together and you said there's magic happening. And then right after that is when you started inviting us to send the energy. So it's like something, and maybe you could talk about that. How do you recognize, is it just an intuitive knowing that when the magic has locked in and when the field is available for us to then not be in the thinking of the singing, but in the energy of the sending?
It's such that okay. Let's do that first, and then we'll come back to the handy thing. So okay, a finger each for the two of you. Any others right now, and just like the noticing.
With just hearts, you trust us to know, to have some competence too. We're showing up, and even if we might be like vulnerable and maybe we don't know how to, or we don't think we know, or something like that, you kind of go bullshit. Yes, you do. Anyway.
Yeah.
In a very gentle, compassionate way.
I gently call bullshit. That's a leadership trait that I want to bring other places. Thank you. Yeah.
Nice.
Trust.
I really appreciate when song leaders will let us like have the song experience for a long time to get into the juicy magic. And yeah, I really appreciated the juicy magic that you invited in.
Cool.
For sure.
Thank
And appreciated just all of your encouragements that you did, and even after the song, what was that for you? Where in your life can you weave in this meaning and like be a better person, you know?
Right. How can this make you a better human?
Can I
Thank you. Yeah.
Receive the medicine.
Yes.
so I
Fire
just
tender.
want to share, like, for example, like for myself, it takes me a long time to catch the words. And so like I didn't fully catch it, right? And then we were like on to the next thing and on to the next thing. And then I find myself being like, I can just be in the vibe, or I can catch what I can catch, and then we're like switching again. And so it was perfect how you did it. It's super great, and it's so beautiful to also, I'm just acknowledging maybe for those that maybe didn't fully catch it, right? To get it where you can.
Yeah.
And even if you don't though, you know, you're like, the magic, and where is it, and where are you sending it, and we can still be a part of it, even if we're not catching, you know, the specific words. But the feeling of it though is very palpable, and the energy still behind it, and we can like, I was still with it, right? I was still with it. It's still like struggling with the words a little bit, like, kind of, sort of, or that was a little part, I gave the little part, and I'm like, nope, I still don't have it. It starts
Right.
faster than I even think.
Okay, yeah.
And now I'm in my head, and okay, let's just get out of the head and let's just be in the energy of what it is, and I can sing a little quieter, because I love to get it and I love to sing loud, so it's good, and also to be in that humility and that acceptance of part of the experience, even if we don't capture every little detail.
Oh my God. Okay, so thank you for all of that, because there can be an assumption in me that everyone's got it, and there is fallibility and imperfection in what I'm teaching, because often I will speak the words before a part to make sure for that piece. And I'll say, like, repeat after me. Doing my best to be the love. My deepest heart is dreaming of. I'm doing the best to be the love. I'm doing my best to be the love. My deepest heart is dreaming of. With every breath I take. Let me be the love. With every breath I take. Let me be the love. Letting my cup overflow. Letting my cup overflow. So I could have done that, and that might have helped you, but I thank you for acknowledging too that if there's a piece you missed, there's an opportunity to stay in presence. And for myself as a leader, I want to unburden as much of that outsidiness as I can, because there's something that happens when there is a leaning in. And the fact, thank you for the ways that you leaned in for all that you were still figuring out. And at the very least, if I were just to focus on the parts and stuff, and I did a podcast a couple weeks ago with Patricia Norton, who has a podcast called Breath of Song, where she literally interviews song leaders and posts their songs. So there's tons of them. And I was terrified, actually, after doing my interview, that I had talked too much, even though that's kind of the point with podcasts. But because I didn't have people in front of me, I was trusting that this thing that was going up there permanently was going to be okay. But we were talking at some point about when the parts are hard or people are struggling, what can you do? And I found myself answering truthfully from my experience that if I love you all as strangers or however well we know each other for the courage you're bringing into the space, whether it's courage because you just had a hard conversation with your partner, whether it's courage because that song I just led it too frickin' fast and you want to be in the vibe with everyone else, but that's not where you're at. I'm doing what I can to help the space be both brave and safe. And generally, one of the quickest ways for me to do that is like, you know, I'm doing what I can to love the song anyway, and to love where I know it's going, and to love wherever we get to on that journey together. Because if there's a part of me in my musical training that was about getting it correct, but people can also torment themselves with that perfection. And if I were to torment you with that and be like, nope, sopranos, you don't have it. It's like, oh, okay, Dragon Lady, what's going on? And you can be in spaces where it's like you love the director or whatever for that kind of, hey, get this right, and they'll be mad and they'll be passionate. But did you guys see the movie Whiplash? Oh. That movie was straight up abuse. I hated that movie because it wasn't actually about what's needed, which is like coaxing us and encouraging us into our excellence as a group. It was just abuse. So in what ways can being specific or circling back around to a part just be about clarifying something? And for the record, if there's ever a point where you're like, I didn't quite get that, could you please repeat it? I will stop the train to make sure we do that, because if you're speaking it, that automatically means that the group needs it. So, anyway.
Can I say one more thing?
Yeah.
I was going to say the switching of parts. I just still want to say that, but that was really helpful. I haven't done that much. But to what you said of, I talked to somebody at the Big Heart Gathering who went to Singing Alive once and isn't going back because it was really hard for him to learn the songs. And so he was like typing them into his phone, but then he felt funny. And so, but it's like, it was a silent thing for him. I just happened to talk to him. And so I wonder if there's a sizable portion of people who might not mention it. And that's why I just appreciate your sharing of like, sometimes it's harder to get the words. And then where am I in the song? So like for the song leaders, having them in mind, because they might not get the words, but what can they do? You know, how do they participate if the words are just going to flow this time, that they can still feel like included when they just sometimes don't get words? Totally.
And even as I'm thinking of these things, I'm already like, okay, how can I preempt any singing and leading I do with an invitation for that? Like last night, Ganavia, this amazing singer, she was singing in these ways where you want pin drop quiet, right? You want to just like be in the listening bliss of it. But when she came out on stage, the first thing she did, there were 2 toddlers in the room being held by their parents. And they're like, ah! Ah! And she came out on the stage and started singing, ah! And she was looking right at this little toddler and saying, thank you, little one, for being here. She wasn't talking to their parents. She wasn't talking to us about the kid. She was talking to the kid, saying, thank you for being here. Thank you for your energy. I want you to know that your tears, your shouts, your coughs are welcome. And then throughout the night, there was a moment where she was singing and the toddler started crying and she's like, it's amazing. Right now I'm in whatever she was singing, Hindi or Sanskrit or something. She was like, I'm literally singing about a baby crying right now. And then there were and she wouldn't just say it, she would sing it to us. I'm literally singing about a baby crying right now. And that's happening. Or again and again, she would be singing and the toddler would cry out, but the notes would match. And she's like, do you ever notice that a toddler is actually singing in perfect. So she, if she hadn't done that, in that beautiful space, we might have set the tone of our Western resistance, which is like, this is supposed to be silent. That baby should be quiet. That baby is wrong. That baby, you know, like that. Or like, oh gosh, I wish that person hadn't brought their baby. Or the parent might be like, oh my gosh, my kid is screaming, you know. And she just came in and addressed it as this is sacred, this is welcome, this is magic, this is important. And she set that tone. She was the leader and she let us know what was going on. And it was a total reframe. So,
Who's this person again?
Ganavia, say that name. Ganavia. Go listen to all of her recorded music, but on Instagram you just get to see her sitting in practice rooms, filling them with God. Goals, right?
Can I give one more kudos?
Yeah.
I really appreciated your drumming. I feel like it brings us deeper into the music and brings the song. It's like a richness in the depth of where it brings us to, and helps keep the beat, obviously.
Yeah.
You know, and so I just really appreciate you bringing that into the song.
Thank you. I've done workshops on that, and I've done it specifically for women, frankly, because it's like, please, more women drummers, please. But something about doing this thing, and I want to say this to anyone who's leading choirs, like, pick where your bottom is and where your top is. And so here's the top, here's the bottom. Letting my cup overflow is the bottom. Let me be the love, me flow. That's where the boundaries of the song are. If I go, doing my best to be the love, my deepest heart is dreaming of. You're like, it's actually kind of more all over the place. Whereas if I say, here's the bottom, here's the top. Doing my best to be the love, my deepest heart is dreaming of. So like, be aware of what you're doing in that space, because sometimes people do this and it's like, you're not actually giving me parameters right now. So, or they'll be like really extreme.
I just want to piggyback on that if I may.
Please, yes.
Yes. Also, remember rule number 1.
What's rule number 1?
You don't have to be perfect.
No.
You have to not be perfect. So, like, I'm still figuring out when I'm going up and when I'm going down. I'm 20 years. I have been doing this for 20 years, and my hand still goes up when it's supposed to go down. Don't give yourself shit about that.
No, totally.
You do you as well as
Thank you.
can.
Thank you. Thank you. And even
And aspire onward to know what you're
yes, just so. Thank you. And it's both, right? It's like, here's something that I've found helps. And if that's not how you roll, that's okay. And some hand gesture is better than none. And wherever you are on that journey is perfect. And so, yes?
Amazing.
Another thing I'll say about drumming, and again, this is an invitation. There's a reason I have 2 different drums. One is because in singing increasingly, this is often just too loud. And djembes in my, this is a beef that I have. So I'm gonna just voice an opinionated opinion. You ready? Opinionate all over you. Like in drum circles, if I'm really, the point of this is to help you know where the beat is. So, doing my best to be the love, my deepest heart is dream. If I go, doing my best to be the love, or something where every single space is taken up by the low tone, what is taking up all the space?
Amy's drum.
Amy's drum. So if you are a percussionist and you are offering service to a song leader, know that what we need you for is for structural help and for groove when it's the time. But often what I've learned is like, this is what I'm doing while we're teaching the parts and while we're learning them. And when it's time to be singing the song, then I'm giving you like this. And I was like, doing my best to be the love, my deepest heart is dream. Or something, doing my best to be, that's a totally different vibe, isn't it? And there's something about that variety, and it's partly because I'm just ADHD, but changing it up like that, it like lets us look at the song from different perspectives. So if you're a percussionist and that's something you're offering, consider giving us some variety just so that we can see what that feels like. And if there's one that the room seems to like better, stay there for a bit. Or if it's time to like back off, like there's just ways where as listeners to music, our bar is so high because when we were given recorded music, the gift of recorded music, where we can take it into our homes and listen to a symphony, having never heard a symphony. But there's something in that where our bar for what we aspire to is really, really high, but it might have been that we left behind the practice of music back in 3rd grade. And in other places where there isn't recorded music, if you're not making it, it's not happening. So you get good at it if that's supposed to be you. And if there's somebody in your community who's playing music that you're passing by every day while they play music in the ubiquitous, utopian, ideal villages of the past, but like if this was where we lived, and I'm just sitting here on my drum every day making music, and you're a kid, and you see me playing every day, how much more likely are you to play than you would be if you didn't have access to that? And it's pretty amazing because YouTube lets you watch a cajon player in Brazil and like learn the skills. And there's been an amazing proliferation of information that way. But because it's not tied into our living, it's on us to find that. All that to say, as listeners of music, probably a lot more than we play, and that includes me. I'm a DJ and a music listener much more than I'm a player. And that's saying something. Our standards are really high, and our practice is probably a lot less. Yeah. So filling that space with love and compassion is a big deal. But also, I can read knowing that, like, if you have any R&B in your life, like, that might have a response for you. And that's what I loved about Porangi. He was bringing, like, a lot of skill to a setting where we wouldn't usually have access to somebody that good just walking around with us without microphones, without a stage separating us. So, yeah, okay, I'm talking a lot. Is it time for another song? Yeah. Okay, it's time for another song.
Talk about the magic.
What?
Yes, but you didn't talk about the magic.
Should we talk about the magic now, Danny?
Well, we could sing a song and then talk about it. Yeah.
Okay, let's sing a song.
We can feel the magic.
Sing a song about the magic. Okay. Oh man, I could just do the exact set list I did when I was in Portland. All right, I'm gonna try like a. Okay. Are you up for like a? Okay. I'm just trusting you. All right. It's this trust piece. It's that I'm trusting that whatever risk I take is going to somehow serve the whole, either by you watching me fuck up and try to recoup, or me fucking up enough for you to be like, excuse me, can you just please stop? And letting me know the needs of the group. Like, even that is in service because it's keeping me touched in with you in a way where you're practicing your part of that. Because it's not all about me. It's like, hey, Aimee, we're done. Can we just stop? We're not getting it. Right? Yeah, and the thing I love about singing alive, if I may, just real quick, is that there are circles where, singing alive and other gatherings like them, my favorite nighttime circle is the kind where everyone's all together. And it happens at smaller gatherings. Big gatherings, it's like there's this Sky Lodge here and this Sky Lodge here, and everyone's just following their bliss and going to other things. At small enough gatherings, they're like, okay, we've been separate all day. We've actually kind of missed each other. What are we going to rock tonight? And you get all of the seasoned song leaders together with the ones who are new, and then you just kind of consciously trade back and forth so that there are new people who get to be brave in the presence of people they respect, but the people they respect are also like, what have you got? And then it happens enough where there's a new song leader who's never led a song in their life, and they're sharing a song that they wrote, and they're like pulling it out of their hearts and saying, what do you think? Do you like this? And like after they teach it a little and we help them get it, then we're like, oh no way, right? Okay, so I think I need to do this song because this became a punk metal song like that at the Village Fire Gathering in Iowa. And it's a real quick one. Fail hard and fail fast. Fail hard and fail fast. Fail falling forward. Fail falling forward. Fail so it's worth it. 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 Fail hard and fail fast. Fail hard and fail fast. Fail falling forward. Fail falling forward. Fail so it's worth it. 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 Fail hard and fail fast. Fail hard and fail fast. Fail falling forward. Fail falling forward. Fail so it's worth it. Fail so it's worth it. Fail so it's worth it. Fail hard and fail fast. Fail falling forward. Fail so it's worth it. Fail so it's worth it. Fail hard and fail fast. Fail falling forward. Fail so it's worth it. Fail so it's worth it. Fail hard and fail fast. Fail falling forward. Fail so it's worth it. Fail so it's worth it. Yeah. Just so. That wasn't the song I was gonna lead. Another one went in there. Oh, shoot. Dang it, her name's Sarah. And her last name is, is it? Is it Sarah Connor? No. No, shoot. I can't remember her name. Sarah somebody. Sarah somebody. Say that name. Great. All right, and we've got until 4:30, yeah? Okay, so this is where my Rolodex is getting stuck. The Rolodex of songs in my brain. And I didn't make a list, because sometimes I do, and then it's not as important later, I recognize. Would you raise your hand if you would like a calm song. Raise your hand if you want a raucous song. Raise your song if you really don't care. Okay, raise your song. Raise your song if you really don't care. And so that was kind of a meh answer, but sometimes taking a poll actually gets you somewhere. So just know that that's a tool you can use, but when it doesn't really give you any answer, you can look at your notebook. P.S. I love these little moleskin notebooks, and I love that my journaling of the last 15 years mostly consists of song lists. Either concerts or song circles, so that's fun. Oh, man. Oh, those are good. Oh, crap. Okay. All right. Okay. So, okay. So there's a song leader based in San Francisco, Bay Area, named Melanie Demore. Say that name. Melanie Demore. Do you know who I'm talking about? Raise your hand if you know who I'm talking about. Black, queer, activist, low alto, was one of two people along with Kate Munger who started the Threshold Choir movement, which if you don't know what that is, it is literally almost all women except for like a belligerent 6'4" Filipino man that just kept on calling Kate Munger and saying, "Can I please be part of this?" And she was like, "No, this is just for women." And he just kept on being insistent. And so he's like the one dude who's allowed to come. And he's like this don't tangle with him in an alley, deep sea diving Filipino linebacker who's like standing singing Threshold songs in the Bay. It's so great. Anyway, Threshold Choir is about the collection, curation of lists of songs that are meant for singing at bedsides when people are on their way out of this plane. And there are rehearsals all over the world. There's a website with a growing list of songs, largely written by Kate Munger, Becky Reardon, and Melanie Demore, whose song we're about to sing. I love this, that when I've seen her lead these workshops, it's a model for their rehearsals, where they'll practice the songs all together, and then they bring a collapsible, fully reclining chair that's about this high, and they bring it into the space, and they say, "Who needs to receive tonight?" And somebody raises their hand because they've had a long day or something in their life is hard, and they lie down, face up, receiving. And then everyone in the room gets to practice, not just, "I'm singing to get the parts right," but like, "I'm singing in a quiet, calm way, full of presence and care for the sake of you receiving what I'm sharing." And then depending on who's needing it in the Bay Area and who has the Threshold Choir phone numbers, and this is in many communities, they'll send 4 or 5 people to a bedside. And oftentimes they'll come into a room where the family has no clue how to relate to this family member that's changing, and they don't really know what to do. And they'll sing songs like, "Soften my heart, soften 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 my heart." And they'll sing that for enough time for the people in the room to like, oh, I'm breathing. There's stuff here for me to feel. And so many times after the threshold choir leaves, the person will die because they felt safe enough to die because of the beauty and presence that the singers had brought. So this is real stuff, and Melanie's one of the people who started it. And she and Kate Munger, who started it together, call each other on the phone every day. Every day they talk to each other. So Melanie wrote this song, which wasn't even that last one. It's 3 parts. This is a bit more of a choir song, but it's also just a divine little puzzle. When I awake, when I awake, when I awake. I'm going to have you sing it quietly, even as you're learning it. When I awake, when I awake, I breathe in light. 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 And know that I am here. And know that I am here. And know that I am here. So something to know about Melanie DeMore. If she was here, and this is me not being, like I'm queer, but I'm not a queer black woman in her 60s wearing a tux in front of you. You would just love her. If, anytime she's leading, you're just like, yes, whatever you say. Because she's so specific. She'll go like this in the silences, as if to say, don't you dare be anything but present. When I awake. That place in between. And she's not saying don't do it wrong. She's saying don't you dare not be present. Don't you dare not be present. And her insistence doesn't feel shaming. It doesn't feel othering. It's just calling us all to this place of here we are in the nobility of giving it the best you got. And it feels so good to be in her presence as a leader. And I'm like, you find out what she does every day for a living, and like she teaches at elementary schools. She's teaching like rooms full of like 38-year-old boys. And I'm like, how the hell do you talk to them? I said that to her during rehearsal. I was like, how do you speak to your students without missing a beat? She said, the same way I speak to you. And I was like, because 8-year-old me would have loved that. 8-year-old me wanted structure and rigor and wanted the beauty of music and wanted to go there. And she does it in this way that's specific but doesn't hurt anybody. So that's what I'm trying to go for when I'm teaching you this song. Ready? So let's see if we can do that whole thing. Call and response first and then put it all together. When I awake, when I awake, I breathe in light. I breathe in light. And know that I am here. Get those silences in between. Don't rush them. And know that I am here. Thank you. And know that I am here. When I awake, we're just talk them. Just talk them. When I awake, I breathe in light. I breathe in light. And know that I am here. And know that I am here. So I'm going to sing the whole thing. You listen. If you know it well enough, like lip sync it, and then we're going to sing it together. So whole thing I'm going to sing. Listen. When I awake, I breathe in light and know that I am here. All of us. When I awake, I breathe in light and know that I am here. So I don't have my schooled choir training. If I did, I would be like doing this like razors in the air and you'd know exactly what I mean. But what I'm trying to give you is that I am here. Like, don't rush that, and we'll try to hit it all at the same time. Go for the silences. They're really delicious in this one. Again, when I awake, I breathe in light and know that I am here. Second part's a harmony. When I awake, sing that. When I awake, I breathe in light. I breathe in light. And know that I am here. And know that I am here. Same as before, more spaciousness, but that's second part. When I, all together, so. When I awake. So this is me learning how to teach it. Na, 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 na. When I awake. Na, 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 na. I breathe in light. Na, 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 na. And know that I am here. Again, like that. When I awake, I breathe in light, and know that I am here. Okay, pause. How are we doing? I'm taking a risk teaching it this way. Are you doing all right so far? Take a breath. Oxygenate the learning. Oh, that's a good phrase. Let's oxygenate the learning here. I'm just reminding you one step ahead of the part. That's what we're doing. Yes. Yes, Dharmika.
It seems like there's plenty of room to take a breath between the first and the second and the second and the third.
Yeah. Yeah, breathing together is awesome. So let's try that again. We're doing the harmony part. Then we'll review the first. Then we'll somehow put them together. Okay, so second part. When I awake. Let's breathe in some light. I breathe in light. And know that I am here. And know that I am here. First part. When I awake, I breathe in light. And know that I am here. Let's see if we can do it. When I awake, I breathe in light and know that I am here. Second part. Na 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 na. When I awake, I breathe in light and know that I am here. Keep doing that top part again. When I awake, I breathe in light and know that I am here. Do that again. I'll sing the bottom part. When I awake, I breathe in light and know that I am here. So just those two parts. When I awake. Who's on the when I awake? Sing it with me real quick, like sing it quickly. When I awake, I breathe in light and know that I am here. Top part. When I awake, I breathe in light and know that I am here. Let's try them together, paced right. Here we go. When I awake. Listen to each other, keep going. I breathe in light and know that I Where? You're going to do that again, and I'm going to sing the third part over top. You ready? When I wake, I breathe in light and know that I am here. One more time with me on the top. When I wake, I breathe in light and know that I am here. You want to learn that third part? Isn't that cool? So, again, Melanie DeMore is a queer woman of color. There are things that she knows about this life having to push back against a culture that doesn't really make or leave or encourage the space for who she is, and yet here she is. And she wrote this song from a place of when you wake up in the morning, there might be all kinds of things about the conditioning of the outside that doesn't want you here, that doesn't want you breathing in light. And yet she wrote this song as a way to breathe back into that. And her confidence as a teacher and her love of the music and her nobility makes me stand up straighter, and it makes me want to show up with my best. And it's been an honor every time I've gotten to be in a room with her. So most of us are whiteies here, and that's okay. So as we sing, let's honor where this song came from, which is from a woman who wrote this for the nutrition she needed to push back against a culture that would not make a space for her in this way. Yes? Okay, so the third part, I'm going to hum the other two because you have to put it in the right place. When I wake. So hum with me and then sing. When I wake, I breathe in light. I breathe in light. And then we all sing and know that, but then this goes different. And know that. And know that. And the last bit does belligerent triplets. It's like, I am here. And know that I am here. So do this with your hand. And know that I am here. And don't rush it, real spacious. And know that I am here. When I wake, I breathe in light. And know that. And know that I am here. When I wake, I breathe in light. And know that I am here. Even more spacious, we're slowing it down, try to lean back into it. When I wake, clear but soft. I breathe in light. And know that I am here. Shall we put them together?
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
For putting together,
yes.
Would you be willing to divide us into groups?
Oh, that's a great question. Usually I pathologically resist that.
Okay.
And what I would like to do is delineate. So would you like to be next to somebody who's doing what you're doing? Can you negotiate that among the people around you? So who wants to do, when I awake, I breathe in light. We need more of you. And so this is me. Okay, you're not raising your hand to look at me. You're raising your hand to look around. So you're finding your people. If you need to go stand by them, do it. First part, when I awake, raise your hand, look around. Are there about a third of you? You can stand near each other, but can you sing it in solidarity without going near them? That's your challenge. Say.
We got a section over here.
Yeah, you got it. And we'll talk about this in a second. Second part. When I awake. Second part. Raise your hand. There should be about a third of you. You're singing the second harmony. Yeah, okay, looking around, you got about enough? Okay. The third part is that weird one that does this thing. I'll be singing that one with you to make sure we know what the structure is. Raise your hand if you want the third one. Okay, looking around? Okay. The reason I like to do it this way is because there's a micro-tribalism that happens when everyone over here is only singing this part. And it's great. The support of collective learning is really important. And if you need that, make sure you've got it around you. But the way I like to do it is if I know that there are some people over there that are also singing my part, I'm listening for the whole that is not just over in my section. And you can have a gorgeous song that's intricate and beautiful, but if the only part you're hearing is your own, are you hearing the gorgeous intricacy? Probably not as much. You have to work harder. So in my opinion, if there's 3 parts, I like to say 1's raise your hand, 2's raise your hand, 3's raise your hand, and there's this like anarchy self-regulation thing that happens. That's a really cool thing to practice, right? And when we practice it so that it's split up, there's a way where you can hear the different parts better. There's a way where you're listening beyond your close familiar. And there's a way where if you need that closeness, you self-regulate, you find that, but it's not being handed to you. So that's part of why I generally do it that way. And sometimes people are like, dude, can you just put us in sections and tell us what to do? And then I read the room and I listen. So do you have the support that you need right now?
Yes.
Okay, good.
I also love about this way that you might volunteer for a part and then feel like that part's got it really good and this other part needs more support. So you can
sing it. So that is something about the group where it's like, if you happen to be the one who notices that there's a weaker part, what does that mean? That means that you have to be the one to do something.
Let me be the one.
Yeah, yes. And honestly, one of my favorite things about doing it this way is like, I'm like, raise your hand, don't look at me, I don't care. Don't look at me, I don't care, because everyone's like, oh, Miss Ringle, Miss Ringle, Miss Ringle. And I'm like, this isn't for me. This is so that you can raise your hand and make yourself known to the people around you. It's actually about me stepping back. Okay, so should we try this thing? Yeah. Should we review the parts? Yes. First part, and if you wanted to just be the section singing that part, that's cool. When I awake, I breathe in light and know that I am here. So send this part to the start of your next day and see if you can get this song to greet you when you wake up. First part. When I awake, I breathe in light and know that I am here. Really leave those silences space. Second part. When I awake, when I awake. We're not adding them together yet. We're just reviewing them. I breathe in light and know that I am here. Yeah? Third part, just the third part. When I wake, I breathe in light and know that I am here. Let's do that one again. Sing it with confidence if you know it, but quiet. When I wake, I breathe in light and know that I am here. Should we try the whole thing? Okay, just take a breath. From here, we do what we can to let go of the learning and just be in the singing and trust that any other learning we need to do will happen collectively while we're making beauty. Because beauty lets us learn. I don't know what that means, but let's find out. We're going to find out. Here we go. So, when I awake, and I'll cue the first two parts, and I'm going to sing with the third, okay? So. When I wake, I breathe in light. You're getting it? and know that I am here. Take a breath. We're going to remember a little better next time. When I wake, I breathe in light and know that I am here. Yeah, keep going. When I wake, I breathe in light and know that I am here. You getting it? Does this feel clear? Yeah. So, and know that I am here. That's different than I am here. What's the first one? And know that I am here. Harmony. And know that I am here. Let's try it again, all together. When I wake, I breathe in light and know that I am here. I'm going to try it with my hands behind my back, and this is about us listening to each other. See if we can do it. When I wake, I breathe in light and know that I am here. 3 more. When I wake, I breathe in light and know that I am here. 2 more. When I wake, I breathe in light and know that I am here. 1 more for the leader in you. When I wake, I breathe in light and know that I am here.
Can you please tell us again who it was that told you that when we sing, it's like we are building the temple, and then when we are silent, that we are entering?
So that's from.
Can you say what she said?
Yeah. Okay. So that last song is by Melanie Demore. Say that name.
Melanie Demore.
Go look her up. Give her support. There's a GoFundMe so that she can build a home in Taos, New Mexico, that she's loved and built relationship with for many years. Let's empower this woman to do that. Wherever she wants to live, we'll be so blessed by her presence. That practice that I learned about from Alina Evir, who is a song leader in Appalachia, who is of the Jewish descent. The Nigun practice, which is a sacred, wordless form of singing. In that tradition, when we sing the song, we build the temple. Say that.
When we sing the song, we build the temple.
And the silence after is us entering the temple.
And the silence after is us entering the temple.
Right? I know, right? Okay.
Aimee, who said that?
Well, it's Alina A'evir, but it's from the Nigun tradition, which is an ancient Jewish practice. Nigun. Nigun. Say that. Yeah.
N-I-G-G-U-N.
Thank you. Thank you. We talked mostly about song leading, but I'm also learning that my skills as a song leader and a talkie-talkie person have brought me into positions of leadership and be the loud voice that says the thing in other settings. So if you're looking for resources, not just about song leading, but about being in positions of responsibility in front of people, can I give you a little bit of reading Rainbow home assignments? Yes, please. Okay, so Adrienne Marie Brown, say that name. Adrienne Marie Brown. There's a book called Emergent Strategy. Who knows this book? So I'm going to leave a copy of it here and walk away after this circle if you want to come check it out. But it's the idea that we can be agents of change while paying attention to how the natural world has done it and survived for billions of years. And it's about community and collaboration and adaptability. She took this book, which came out, I can't even remember when, in the last 5 years, and workshopped it all over the country in activism and movement and healing spaces, largely led by queer people of color. And in that, she workshopped it and said, what of this that everyone had been book clubbing it and reading it and applying it in their movements and their nonprofits? She's like, what's working? What are you learning? And what do we need? And there's a book that I thought I had on my shelf, but apparently I've given away my last copy. And this is a book that I've had like 6 copies of and given away. It's by her, say that name, Adrienne Marie Brown. Adrienne Marie Brown. And she has a book called Holding Change. Say that. Holding Change. And it's literally tips for leaders about how to sustainably carry what's yours to carry. And one of the punchlines that she's said in interviews about it is, if what you're doing doesn't look like where you're wanting to go, that's where your work is. So at the start of the song, if I'm like impatient and like self-conscious, are we going to get to the beauty as easily? That's a leading question. Yes, the answer is no. If I'm coming in with, all right, there's a song that's in my head that I'm going to do my best to share with you from a place of loving inclusion and patience and encouragement, and this is how we're doing the whole thing, is it likely that we'll get to a place where all of us are kind of doing this? Yes, as a leader, you hold a microcosm of where you want to go. And you know that everyone else does too, and that your voice is in service to that. Your authority, you're being handed the mic, you're passing the mic to someone else. Yeah? So, Holding Change and Emergent Strategy by Adrienne Marie Brown. Yes? Those are literally, if you're booky and wanting to learn how to be a better leader, those are great places to look. Thank you all so much for coming to this workshop. I know there's other places you could have been. I'm really glad you were here. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Emily, for holding the fire so beautifully. Thank you, fire. I don't, because I don't do emails, but I'm on Instagram as Bowl of Stones. I'm working on an album this year. Please feel free to poke me about it. And I do as many cool things like this as I can.